Welcome back, comic book collectors and enthusiasts. My name is Brandon. You're watching Moncomics Big 5 Live. Hey folks, welcome back. Happy Saturday night. It is another episode of Moncomics Big 5 Live. I have a very unique, awesome, special show tonight because I am not pulling content creators from all over YouTube. I am bringing them from one singular channel. So tonight I've got some great guys on from the Codex Comic Station, and they're just wonderful content creators. Let me bring them out one by one and introduce them. Bring him to the stage. Out first is my buddy Wes, who's been helping coordinate this whole thing for the past couple months. Hey, Wes, thanks for coming on. Wes absolutely. Wes on their station goes under the Rebel Scum moniker, which I love as a big Star Wars fan. I've got all the bounty hunters, the original bounty hunters, tattooed on my entire calf.
Nice.
And then I got a Wampa because I live up in the snow when it's cold.
Oh my god. Yeah. So you and me are.
Right,
kindred spirits for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, next I got Tim the Terrible. Tim, what is going on tonight, my friend?
Brandon, thank you very much for having me, Wes, and everybody that you're going to be bringing out here in just a second on tonight. It is a pleasure to be here.
It is my honor to bring you guys out. Next, I'm bringing a man after my own heart with the slabs. I'm bringing on Sal, the slab guy. Look at that display behind him. It is beautiful.
Thanks for having me on.
Are you using vinyl or metal J channel?
That is vinyl J channel from the Home Depot.
Beautiful. Yes, that's similar to what I'm using besides the shelves.
Nice.
So I love it, Sal. I'm hoping to see some slabs tonight. And then tonight,
yes,
we have the man, the myth, the legend, the Ric Flair of comics, Uncle Gary.
Thanks for having me.
There he is.
Guys,
baby.
Welcome to the Moncomics Big 5 Live. This has been something we've been trying to do. Wes reached out, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I was like, October's nutty. He's like, yeah, I get it. Us too, And then November, we kind of started talking about it and like trying to pick a date. And I was like, well, I do like a whole live show on, once a month. Why don't you guys bring, draft your team and bring them on? And he's like, absolutely.
Done.
So, we are all friends through Jeff from Comic Spa. Yep. And he's working on a lot of our books. And I met Jeff. I watched Mike from Lunch Money Comics, and I had just gotten back into collecting, and I knew I wanted to submit some books, but I didn't have a third-party presser, And then when he recommended Jeff, I was like, that's all I need to hear is, someone with that kind of experience.
Oh, yeah.
So I started working through Jeff, and then, got to know Mike. And then Jeff said he was coming on the show. Mike was coming on the show. And then I started taking deep dives into your guys' content. So these folks do an array of different content all over the spectrum, whether it's talking about a character of the day or week, CGC submissions, room tours through Gary's museum. They just do a lot of stuff. I recently watched the room tour. I keep talking about the museum tour with Gary, okay? And what really impressed me the most, and don't get me wrong, your design of every room and how you laid it out was phenomenal. Your big books are the thing dreams are made of. But what really impressed me is watching you go through your libraries and seeing all of the graphic novels and books you have. Because someone can have all the money in the world and spend it on AF-15s, Hulk 1s. You can go buy that. But it takes determination and fortitude to read all of those books and gain that knowledge. You cannot buy that knowledge. And that's what really struck me, is going, this guy has knowledge in his brain that most people will not acquire because they don't have the patience or fortitude to do it. So that's what I've been waiting to say, is that, most impressive on that one, Gary.
Well, I appreciate that, brother. Look, I think as of CLZ's last count, 59,064 books, I think is where I'm at right now. So, those books that you see upstairs, almost every book you see,
all of us together don't equal that, Gary.
No. It's also true.
Y'all believe in quality instead of quantity.
That must be what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But all those books upstairs in that library, pretty much I have all the originals too.
Mhm.
So I have the original books, and I'm the sucker. Like take Preacher, for example, one of my very favorite series. I have every issue of Preacher. I have the trade paperbacks of Preacher. I have the deluxe hardcover, and then damn it if I don't have the absolute hardcover editions of Preacher. So they got me like 4 different times. So it's just, I love collecting them in book format. You know, the original issues don't have to be opened and looked through, and it's just much easier to read through the books. And the books look great like that. And I do appreciate you talking about the design sense, because I have no artistic, I don't have an artistic bone in my body. I can't draw for, see, I was gonna say bad words. I can't draw at all. So I draw stick figures, but I do believe I have some design sense. And I think it's like a geek chic that I got going on here. So I can design a comic room, my brother.
Dude, you certainly did. And it was impressive. Just
Thank
saying hi quick to the chat. SideQuest Comics, Eric, hello, good evening. Colossus Collector, I don't know if anyone got a chance to watch his holiday show last night.
I did. I have to ask, was that food real on his table? Because that was impressive if it was.
Oh,
he had
I'm
a whole
sure.
spread. I'm
not sure. Ryan, you'll have to chime in on that one. It was a
insane.
wonderful time. He did a great job with it. It was great. We were all having some cocktails. It was fun. Up North Comics is my buddy Bruce up in Maine, so he's even further up.
Wow.
All right.
Collecto 6 is my friend Steve. Now, Steve is the only other person, and now that I've met you, Gary, Steve is the only other person I know with your kind of knowledge and, you know, your kind of collection. Like how long he doesn't do the toys as much. He's more just the books. He has some great pinball machines, but
Cool.
his knowledge, I'm learning so much from either watching your videos or hearing from him and talking to him. So check him out on Instagram if you get a chance. Let me get in some questions. How did this channel start with you guys?
Well,
Tim, take that away.
yeah. Okay. So the Codex Station, as it's known, the Codex Comic Station, started with our founders Jamie and Sonny. Next Gen Collectors, super awesome, man. That is great. I enjoy hunting for books too. Geek chic, right on.
Yeah.
No, but Jamie and Sonny are our founders. They created this together. They did a couple of episodes of the podcast. I came in a couple months later, I think August of 2021. Excuse me. Started doing a thing on our channel called Decoding Panels, where it's dramatic readings of comic books. So the whole spread is there from first page to last. I rewrite it so that way there's no plagiarism. It's an original story told with all the pages from some of your favorite books. Started guesting on the podcast. Eventually, they brought me on as the third chair. Sal came on not too long after that on our After Dark show, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. We got some amazing people. We got Dan the Kelly Art. He's awesome and amazing. A wealth of comic book knowledge. We got Uncle Gary right there. We got Wes here. Kristen, who is our review queen, and Kevin, all the way over on the West Coast, the founder of a Comic Character of the Day, where a lot of us met outside of Codex. And yeah, there's a lot.
that kind of leads into my next question. How many people are involved with the channel?
So there are 9 people on the team total, and it sounds like a lot, but we all have our place. We all enjoy what we do, and each one of us is put in a position where our knowledge and our abilities are used to their maximum.
We stay in our lane.
Everybody's got their niche.
Stay on target. Stay on target.
Negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full.
And you guys do a hell of a job at it. I mean, it's fun to see so many different efforts come together. You guys are like the Avengers, really. I mean, you form all over, you know, you guys pulling each other. Or Voltron. We could go Voltron too.
Any of those.
Jamie would say Power Rangers.
I'm going with aerial bots. I'm going.
He's the youngster.
Aerial bots. That's a good one.
How about Silverhawks, Sal? Let's go that route.
Silverhawks. Yeah, that's true. Do that.
Some guys are going to be some villains.
G-Force. All right.
There you go.
Keep going.
What would you guys say the main goal of the Codex Comic Station is?
Oh, look at that,
Silverhawks, right there.
Silverhawks.
Silverhawks is our main goal, Brandon. That's all there is to it. Now that Wes has done it, we can retire. No, the main goal. I know these guys each have their own vision for what Codex can be and what it's going to be. But as far as on my end, we want to reach as many people as possible. Our love of comic books, our passion. Thank you very much,
Awesome.
Collector.
Thank you.
There's a lot, so start at the shallow end first and work your way toward the deep end. But no, we
just dive in. Just
dive in.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
just
The water's
dive in.
fine.
Come on.
It's nice and warm. No, just like that, we want to reach everybody.
We've been
We've
peeing in
got
the pool.
we've got a wealth of knowledge that we want to share. We have a passion for this stuff. We love what we do, and we're probably the most non-toxic YouTube channel as far as comic books go. Everybody is welcome. In our chats, yeah.
That's what I mean. You guys put out that vibe when I watch you. You guys are very amiable. You know, your interviews with different comic creators or artists are just second to none. The people you guys are getting is just fantastic.
Hats off to Dan Kelly. He's been,
Dan's our
he's
guy
been the guy
for that.
that's been reaching out to a lot of those guys. Yep.
Cannonball. But behind the scenes, see, a lot of us do a lot of different things behind the scenes too. Dan behind the scenes is pumping out reviews whenever we need them. He's our go-to guy for that. And as far as the interviews go, he has been on fire, and there's more coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable. What do you guys, if I'm trying to think how to word this. I mean, what is been the best part of this experience so far for you guys? Just connecting to so many people.
Sal, go ahead and take that, man.
Yeah, I would say connecting to a lot of people. Like I said before, Dan and I didn't even realize we were going to the same LCS until we met on Comic Character Day and started talking. We met, we started, working on Codex stuff. And I was like, what shop you go to? Because I know you were like close to me, right? And he goes, yeah. Turns out we're 15 minutes apart. We're 15 minutes apart. And he goes, oh, I go to the one in Gaithersburg called M.O.N.Comics. And I'm like, dude, I hit that shop all the time. That's my LCS. So every Friday now we make time and we, during our lunch hour, we hit our shop for our weekly pools.
They have a date.
And Dan convinces you to buy books you otherwise wouldn't buy.
Yeah, right? Dan's always going to buy it now. See, I'm a sucker for foil covers, and Dan's like, oh, did you see that foil cover? Did you see that foil cover? I know it's a character you don't even collect, but it's a foil cover. Get it. And I'm like, God, Dan, give me the foil cover. So yeah, we enjoyed talking about it. I mean, we love talking about the characters. We love talking about some of the stories. We love showing off our stuff because sometimes one of us will get like back issues or we'll get like a hard to find issue and we're like, hey, check it out, I got this one. And I think I gave Gary a Chamber of Chills one day because
I didn't have.
He didn't have that, and I picked them up and I got them really cheap. And I'm not collecting Chamber of Chills, but I loved it. I'm like, oh, but Gary's collecting this one. It's going to go to him. And I got the book for $2, so it was not even a scratch in the wall. And I'm just like, here you go.
And that's the thing too, Brandon, is we all help each other out with books that we're looking for. Uncle Gary has been instrumental in helping me finish my Spectre run.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I got him the last issue he needed for Ghost Rider Volume 2. Sal, you did the Chamber of Chills.
Yep.
Yeah.
For me,
the Weird Mystery Tales too.
Yeah.
Then that one I'm going to try and finish out.
For me,
sorry,
the show.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. For me, the show has been basically for an outlet for me to nerd out because I live in my world that I live outside of what we're seeing right here does not include anybody other than Tim now, who, that lives close to me, but no one that I converse with on a daily basis or hang out with on a daily basis or work with give a crap about any of this stuff. So this is, for me, it's a way to just be able to kind of nerd out. It's a little bit of an addiction there that I get to, fulfill, I guess. I don't know the right word, but so that's what it's become for me. The channel,
Up North Comics.
And of course now I've met these awesome guys and gals, and it's just, It's
Wes and I get together every week and a half or so. He'll come over and visit, and we'll sit down for about an hour or two, and we'll just stare at all the comic books, go through the ones that we want to send out to CGC, try and figure out if we can find anything wrong with them. Then we send them to Jeff, and Jeff's like, "You missed all of this stuff."
We have a submission out right now with him that should be coming back anytime now.
Yeah.
And you know how he is. He'll update you as he goes. And I was like, I thought that was a 9/8 candidate. Turns out, no, not even close. So it's like, well, darn, So, but we've got some of those coming back, so we're excited about that. I was actually just talking to him today. So
nice.
Okay, what were you gonna say, Uncle Gary?
Yeah, I was gonna say, when I hooked up with these guys, it was because the reason that we are all connected, and the highlight has been really hooking up with these fellas, because these guys are like brothers to me. I mean, it truly is. This channel is truly like a family, and I look forward to seeing these guys when we're getting ready to do every show. And the fact that Dan and Sal have been over to the house is so cool. But the connection that we have. But for years, I would hold court, I guess, in my comic shop, pontificate, talk comics, and then that was it. The fact, and I have such a passion to, everybody knows the comic movie, the Marvel movies, the DC movies, and the current stuff. My passion is to get people interested in the old stuff. When we did the Green Lantern show the other day, right, I got to go off and get on my soapbox and talk about how important the Hard Traveling Heroes by Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams is, and how that changed comic history, and how comics came to step from kids stuff to something that is much more and is adult stuff. So that to me is important. It's important to talk, to the folks about the source material for a lot of these movies. And I want people to dig into the past and think about these artists, just talking about Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams again. I always tell people, if you are a fan of the modern day Batman, you owe Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil a huge debt of gratitude for bringing Batman out of the 60s, the television show, and the silliness in the comics. So if you're a modern day Batman fan, you owe those gentlemen a huge debt of gratitude. So that's what I'm passionate about, is making sure the past still lives and the history of these books still live. It is wonderful. The current stuff that's coming out is great. It's wonderful, but don't lose sight of the things that the foundation that this industry was built on. And that's what I love, being able to have an outlet, and that these fellows brought me on. I mean, I won a contest that Kevin had for comic character of the day when he reached a certain number of subscribers, and the lucky wheel of fate came on to me. And I told Kevin, and then I told Tim, before I went live, I said, man, I don't know if y'all know what you're getting. And I said, you may not get me out of there. And damn if I have wedged open the door and stood in there. And, I've been like a tick that's burrowed in, and they haven't gotten rid of me yet. So
nope.
Don't tell them. This is going good so far. Don't get them wise that I'm overstayed my way.
I'm sorry, Gary. My headset cut out while you were saying all of that stuff. So
I was saying how wonderful you were.
You were
great. Beautiful.
You lost audio the whole time there. We didn't hear anything.
From the time he said I'm a tick, it went.
Collecto6 brings up a good point. Now it's we wouldn't have had this even, he's a little bit older than us, and he, grew up, we had to go to each other's house. But I mean, 20 years ago, we wouldn't have been able to do this like this,
right?
The technology.
So all our comics are in such terrible condition from there.
Look, Brent, I still can't do it. I have no tech skills. These fellas and my wife have to walk me through every step of this.
Gary, I'm scraping by.
Yeah,
I'm scraping by here.
When they said, "Oh, he's going to send us a link to this," I'm like, "Well, how the hell do I get on the link? I know how to do the one we do every week. How am I going to do a new one?" So they did not bring me on this channel for my tech skills. That's for damn sure.
I'm the same way, Gary.
Sal and I take care of it on the back end.
They carry me, man.
It is about it's about history a lot to me when you say that, Gary. Like, again, the stuff coming out nowadays is great. There's some amazing stories and amazing artists, but golden to silver age to bronze age, to see social issues, stuff that like the Black Panther. That book came out in the 60s. Now you've got a predominantly you got a black superhero, predominantly featured. I mean, that's just to own that, or to read and look through Wally Wood's art as he came on to the Daredevil run after coming from, Golden Age, and then learning about his unfortunate, downfall in life of, being alcoholic, and was it kidney or liver failure that he went through? I'm not sure which one, but he got a stroke after that, and then he killed himself. And, that's very similar to Gray Morrow, who's co-creator of Man-Thing, had Parkinson's, ended up shooting himself. There's just so much history involved beyond just what's in the books. And I love learning that stuff. So
the guy that created Plastic Man, L.B. Cole, killed himself in the 50s. Yep.
L.B. Cole, I mean, the pre-code horror work he did was just absolutely phenomenal.
Thanks,
What's up,
Thank
Vaughn?
you, Thank you very much.
What's up, Los Comic Journey?
And whoever said Roll Tide, I have something for you. I have something to say to you. Hotty toddy. None of these Yankees know what I'm talking about, but
Go
I know what it means.
Wolverines. I'm a Spartans fan by trade, but I'll be cheering for the Wolverines when they and Alabama go against each other. Sorry.
That's good.
Good old college football. Let's go into comics. I want to.
Yeah.
I always ask my guests to bring either their 5 most recent pickups, 5 books they just love in their collection, or even a mix mash of both. So let's give Wes the stage. And what do you bring for us tonight, Wes?
So I had trouble deciding whether I wanted to do my most recent, my favorite, or valuable. So I just chose my favorite because if you were to look at my comic room right now, you would see it would take 3 weeks to go through my stuff to find really anything. But my favorites are always pretty close by. So I chose my favorites. Lane's awesome. So first up, and I've showed these before on the show, so these guys have seen
Go Vols! Before, there it is.
Oh, geez. I have to hear that every day where I live. Please, God, no.
Side quest.
Yeah. So my first book up, and these first 2 were my dad's books that I inherited. So they are absolute top of the list as far as favorites. So this is this one here.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The grades aren't great, but you know what? That's not the point.
You're talking to Mr. Low Grade over here.
Yeah. So this was very few of his books survived. We like
Thank
to
you,
call
Side
it
Quest.
the mom effect.
Thank you.
Where you just you leave for college or you leave for the army and you come back, you're like, where's my stuff? Well, that's what happened to him. So he had only very few left. This was one of them. So love that book. The next one up was also his, and it was this one here.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
I love that one.
A little bit higher grade, but again, that's not the point. So, and it's a very good key. So, very
that
much
cover
love this book
just
as well.
pops, Wes.
I love it. I'm sorry about the glare.
The color is amazing.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really presents well. So, all right. So those are the only 2 of his. Those were the first 2. This one I put on my favorite because The Amazing Spider-Man is, like everybody, one of my top favorite. And it's a newsstand. It almost got the 9.8. I had that in one of my unboxings. So if you guys go back and look, it'll be in one of my unboxings. I just love
Wes,
this book.
you and I combed over that book too.
Yeah, we combed over it, and it was. I was like, I don't think it would get higher than a 9.2, 9.4. Sent this sucker off to Comic Spa, and sure enough, I got the 9.6. So I'm very happy with that. And the fact that it's a newsstand, which are hard to find in the higher grades, harder. And of course, it's a decent key. So
he will. Don't worry.
I love it.
So the books that I'm showing right here, right now, I mean, I've only been back into collecting like the past 3 or 4 years. So my stuff is lesser than the other guys. So I'm hard pressed to get some of these books. So this one here is. Oh, sorry. Let me get it. Okay. This one was bought in a collection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a good one.
And that grade is phenomenal for its age. And it just, you want to talk about a book that presents well and shines.
What's the year on that?
71.
Yeah.
1971. So technically silver, but right at the edge. Really,
right.
Technically not. Well, whatever. But
it's a 15 center, so it's still silver.
15 center.
So I like this book. I'm not a big DC guy. I'm trying to get better at it. I don't really. I know. That's not news to anybody. But
Kirby is
this
king.
was a Kirby. Yep, thank you. He beat me to it. but it's Jack Kirby's story, Jack Kirby and Vance Collada cover and art, all that good stuff. But I didn't really know much about this character, except for his power is ridiculously dumb. But I think this book is so. I have since. I'm talking about before. When I got this book, I have since gone and looked into it. And I was like, this guy's kind of a badass. So, or what? So I'm very cool with that. You and I would get like, yeah. Jeff mentioned you today. We got to hook up Colossus Collector. We got to do that. So there's that one. And I think really that's one of my favorites just because of such high grade it came back at.
Wes, when you showed me that book before it got sent in, you and I both thought that it had to be a reprint.
It looked so nice. Yes, I thought it was a reprint. I got to look through this, and I'm like, sure. Oh my God, yeah, it's not.
Signed by Jim Steranko. It's nice.
Steranko got one of the best signatures in the business.
This is my favorite book of all, and it was bought in that same collection as The Miracle Man, and it's this one.
Yeah,
oh,
there it is.
Okay.
There it is, baby.
And again, none of these aren't all my most valuable, but they are my favorite. This one's one of the most valuable I own.
That's valuable.
This one's around the 14 or 1500 mark at that grade. But anyway, that's not the point. But
right.
For me to get a book like this was something like 3 or 4 years ago. I thought, oh, maybe I'll get one of those in 10 years. It took me a year and a half. I just lucked into it because I love going out and buying collections. So, and of course, Iron Man's the bomb. So this was just a really cool book. And I love Silver Age stuff. I've kind of started shifting to more of a silver bronze collection. I still pick up some new books from time to time, but obviously keys and stuff. But then there's a couple that I am reading, but mostly as far as collection wise, the Silver Age stuff is kind of where I've landed.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, I love that book, guys. And again, not the best books in the world, but for me, especially being in it just for a few years now, and for me to be lucky enough to find these in collections and be able to pick these up at reasonable costs. That's exactly why I do the collection buying. Is I go and I get those collections. I get the collections and I take out what I don't have or what I want, and I sell the rest to continue paying for my addiction. I let my collection pay for itself. And that's just kind of where I go with that. Yep. And so, but yeah, that's kind of, those are my 5 books. So
I love it, Wes. You know what? They were awesome books. I
Thank
love
you.
every one
Appreciate
of those. I don't own
Nice
any
job.
of those.
You don't own any of those? Yes, you do.
No, I don't. I would be honored to own any of those.
Oh, well, okay.
I'm trying to be more trying to be focused on like the certain things I'm going after. I'll talk about it later. Nothing.
Yeah.
Let's get
focused.
Yes, try to at least. So you see a
Yeah.
cool cover, then you're like, shit. There is, hey Biggie. We got Tim the Terrible up.
Tim,
There we go.
there you are. Look at that.
All right,
Front
so-
center, Tim.
Right on. I'm not hosting, so it's kind of weird. I don't know what to do.
Enjoy, brother.
Where do you
Enjoy.
put your hands?
Right here, I think. Okay, so I'm going to do what nobody has ever done in the history of Big 5 Live. I'm going to show the book that was used for the thumbnail.
There you go.
That's awesome.
There you go.
Well done, Tim.
So there you are. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't read this book, you need to read it. Definitely some hot books, but this one's kind of cold because it's seasonal.
Yeah.
there's that.
Oh, very
I
nice.
see what you did there.
Yeah, we did.
Now, the book I'm going to show, I'm announcing my retirement from Codex. This book's going to buy me an island. So
Nice.
Ooh.
Mm.
Yes.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
go give our talk.
No, it's not a newsstand. It's not a newstand.
it
I'm
doesn't
disappointed.
have to be because
I'm
of
classic.
experience. So there you go. No,
Classic.
those are my silly books. Here's my good ones. Let's see here. So this one I got in back issue bin, paid I think $3 for it, and I've never seen one like this with the DC Universe logo. So Marvel versus DC.
Nice.
With that right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's
in
a great
great
cover.
shape. There's one little spot down here. It's not going to get a 9.8, but I think it'll get a 9.4. Either way, this is an awesome book. Holiest of Grails. This one right here.
I think
Probably.
you're talking about
Oh, Darkhawk.
Yeah.
Darkhawk, yeah.
I can show it again,
All
guys.
hell Darkhawk.
There you
Oh,
go.
There
it
we
is.
go.
There we go.
All right. Now, this next one I got while I was hanging out with my buddy Paul down in South Carolina at Tangled Web. This is a beautiful Hawkman. It's I think the best condition Silver Age book I have. This is Hawkman number 16.
Oh,
Wow.
I love that.
Nice.
That's awesome.
What?
who doesn't
Yeah.
love flying gorillas? Come on, man.
Right? A go-go
will
gorilla
sell.
with a big beat takes on Hawkman and his swinging mace. Ladies and gentlemen, and Uncle
Swinging
Gary,
mace.
what are the checkers up there?
Those are the go-go checks, my brother.
That's right. And it says go-go right there too,
Yep.
ladies and gentlemen.
Make sure those DC books stood out.
Yes.
Yes, they did.
These next three are personal, and I'll go over each one of those. So this one is an incredibly obscure comic. This is some very early Kelly Jones work. A lot of people don't know about this book, but it is Chrome #1. As Uncle Gary
It's a
says, this is
fantastic cover.
Mhm.
yeah. As Uncle Gary says, this is my Genesis book. This is the first book that I ever read for comic books. This opened the door. And I had, it's only 3 issues. Hot Comics went out of business not too long after that. At the end of issue 3, you see the preview for what issue 4 would be, but issue 4 never came out. So there's that. But Kelly Jones, beautiful, beautiful artwork in here. I try and find, if I ever see him in dollar bins or anything like that, I always buy them, pull them out. This I'm going to get graded. I hope it comes back in 9.8, and I hope it's the only one on the census, so I can.
That is phenomenal cover. That is absolutely gorgeous.
Is it not? I hope to meet him someday so I can have him sign it.
Nice.
That would be great.
I just think that would be great. This next one here is the only slab I'll show. This is the Amazing Spider-Man number 351. This is the first comic book that I ever bought with my own money.
I
So
love it.
Nice.
my mom and my
Tricentennial.
stepdad, yeah, and it is Bagley art. So there's
It is
that.
Bagley art.
That's
That is
right.
Bagley art.
My mom and my stepdad gave me $2. Went into an ice cream shop that had a spinner rack in the back of the place, and this and a Fantastic Four issue were there, and I grabbed this. Absolutely loved it. Spider-Man's one of my favorite characters.
The one you showed before, the Chrome, did he work on Batman too? The artist?
Kelly Jones,
yes.
yeah, absolutely, he
Yes.
did.
Mhm.
Collectus S.
He-
Yep.
He had a great run in the 90s, was the prominent Batman artist then. He's doing variant
He's doing covers
now.
now. He's doing the B covers now.
Yeah,
for
doing the
Detective.
variants. Absolutely. And they're just as gorgeous now as the
Mhm.
stuff he was doing then. This last one I'm going to show is incredibly personal to me. My brother passed away over 10 years ago. And one of the last things that he bought was this at a yard sale. And after he passed away, I got it. Uncle Gary, I think you know what it's
I know what it is. Yep.
But this is the first printing trade paperback of JLA and Avengers.
Well done.
Wow.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. This, along with Civil War, and I think one other one that I have sitting over there, are all he had for comic books. And when he got this, I remember he called me on the phone. He said, "Hey, Tim, is this a good one?" I said, "Yeah, that's pretty good. You need to read that." I don't know if he ever did or not because we never got to talk about it. But
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry for your loss, but what a special book.
hey, it
Mhm.
is all right. While he was alive, we talked nothing but comic books. The last movie that he saw before, no, the movie he was going to go see before he passed away was Captain America,
right.
the First Avenger. Yes, he is the
That's
master of the crowd shot.
Crowd
He
shot.
is.
He
He
is.
is.
Most definitely.
Everything. But yeah, this is probably my most treasured comic possession right there.
What a wonderful selection of books, Tim.
Good job.
Thank you.
Well done.
Nice. Nice.
Thank you for
nice.
sharing those with us. That was awesome. Sal. Boom.
Hey, how you guys doing? All right, so I changed my selection about 1,000 different times, and even just before the show, I changed it again. So each book has a little story with it, and I'll
That's
start
right,
off with this one
Immortal.
first.
Long
What's that?
hair.
Oh yeah,
Don't get
yeah.
him started.
Tim
Don't
with
get him
the
started.
Tim with the luscious locks. All right,
It is
so
it is better taken care of than most people wives. They take care of their hair.
Oh.
so my
Oh.
first one is Reign of Superman number 22 with the steel cover.
Yes.
And it's a 9.2. Now, I have this dual signed by Louis Simonson and John Bogdanov.
I like how
And
it's
they were at
remarked.
Baltimore, and it's also remarked too. Yep, right there, baby. So this little story behind this. We were at Baltimore Comic Con, and like
The whole
I wanna say
process
about
was
three-
filmed too. So
oh yeah, it was like 3 or 4 days before the I bought these slabs and I got this in. It was a 9.2 when I bought this unsigned, and I got on the video chat with Dan, and we're talking about a plan of attack for the Baltimore Comic Con. And I show him this book, and he's like, "Oh, that's great." He goes, John Bogdano's going to be at the con, and I went, oh my God, really? So I got that like the day before I talked to Dan, showed it to him, cracked it that night, took it to Baltimore, had it signed, and then sent off, and it still came back as a 9-2.
That's
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
So the other little bit story with this was I'm in line for Chris Claremont, which I got a book I'll show you next. And he goes, hey, there's no line for John Bogdanov. Do you want me to take that Superman over there? I'm like, yeah. So he stood in line for me over there, in his booth, and waited to get that signed. And by the time I got through Claremont's line, he was almost at the top, but not there yet because Bogdanov was actually, if you asked him to do a commission right then and there, he did it for you right then and there. So if it took like 45 minutes, it took 45 minutes, that type of thing. So he was like, he's still drawing his thing. He goes, but Louise Simonson's right over there. And I'm like, holy crap. And I'm like, give me the book. So I ran over to Louise Simonson. I'm like, got in line with her. She was only had like 2 people in line. I talked with her briefly and she goes, oh, John's right over there. I'm like, yeah, my buddy's in line right now. She's like, here, go. I'm like, thank you. So I got this book signed and remarked. It's a great book. I love the Steel character. I love the fact he was based out of DC after the reign of Superman, a story arc. So that was a great book.
That's so great that the art, Luis was like, knew how important it was.
Oh my gosh, she was so sweet. I went back and talked to her after her just briefly, and I thanked her. I just said I didn't mean to rush through you because I really want to talk to you. And I talked to her for another 15 minutes or so. She was great. So if you ever go to a con with Louise Simonson, talk to her.
Oh, that'll be on my list for sure.
Definitely. So my next book, Baltimore Comic Con. Now, this book, X-Men 133.
Mm-hmm.
This book, not this particular issue, but this book was the first X-Men book I read way back when it first came out. My buddy had it, and every time I was at his house, I was reading this book. And that book is sadly lost to the wind. It was probably destroyed, but I managed to pick up another copy of it. And of course, going to the Baltimore Comic Con, Chris Claremont was signing. I got 4 books signed by him, as you can see up on my wall here, back there. But I also got this one signed by him. Now, this was, I think, a 9.0 book. It dropped down to 85, but I don't even care.
Yeah.
This book was phenomenal. The story was awesome. Wolverine just ripping through the Hellfire Club goons like this butter. Not, love it.
That book made Wolverine a star.
Yeah,
It did.
Wasn't that his first solo story too?
Well, the other X-Men were in it, but he was the last one standing at that point.
He was the last one standing.
First solo cover.
Right. Okay.
Probably solo cover. Mm-hmm.
Probably.
All right. So my next book is Uncle Gary will love this one. It's a classic. It's the Green Arrow.
Beautiful.
6, and it's a 5.0. Now I picked this one up as a PGX slab, and I believe it was a 6 or a 7 PGX. And I cracked it, and I sent it to a friend of mine who said he would press it, and sent it to CGC, and it came back 5.0. But I don't even care. I love this
beautiful book.
I love this cover. We talked about this in depth on Comic Character a week, and everything that Gary says about it is 100% true. 100%.
Thank you, baby.
All right. So my next one on the list. This is a book that I hunted for. I want to say about 2.5 years. Because I could never find it at a good price raw. Slabbed, out of the question, could never find it within a price range. Is this one.
Yes.
Number 101.
One of my favorite Bronze Age covers.
So good.
I got this one, and I got it slabbed with the X-Men label on it as well.
Dave Cochran.
Great. Yep. It is an awesome cover. I'll be honest with you, I was scared to crack this one open and get it signed by Claremont. I was. So I decided not to. So I left this one in as is, 7.0. I'm happy with it. I love this book. It took me about 2 years. I finally found it in a price range that was affordable for me, and the rest is history.
I love that book too.
For my last book, this is my piece de resistance, whatever. This is my grail. This book is worth nothing. But for the 2 signatures that are on it. So this is Amazing Spider-Man 151.
Nice.
Okay. It's an 8.5, but I don't care. I had Stan Lee to sign this book, and
That
John
is a
Romita
beautiful
to sign this book.
8.5.
That
The
is,
fact
yeah.
that it's 8.5 is still great. For
yep,
its
8.5
Yep.
is
Yeah,
fantastic.
So,
those black covers are hard to get
Mhm.
right.
Oh, look
yep.
at those two signatures, man.
Yep. So I went to so this was not out of my personal collection. I actually went to my my shop actually has two different locations. The one in Frederick is a little bit bigger, has a bigger back issue storage type of thing. And I found out that I was going to be able to get Stan Lee's signature. And I'm like, okay, I need a book. I need a book. And I was hoping to grab one that Stan Lee actually did the writing for. Couldn't do that. I'm like, okay, let me get a good cover that looks really cool, gives me a classic Spider-Man pose. And I'm like, okay, I'll buy this one. And I think I spent $8 on this one.
Sal, I have that in one of those particle board oversized cover images they made years ago. I have that
Yeah.
on my wall.
Oh, nice,
That's
nice.
one of my favorite covers.
That is
Yes.
a great classic Spidey cover. Absolutely.
It is. The book is not even worth much. I think it's like a $10 book or maybe a $12 book now.
Not anymore.
Well, not anymore. But having those two signatures on it was just amazing.
Yes,
And I got them
round of
signed on
applause. There you go.
I got them signed on 2 different days, or 2 different dates, I should say. Stan Lee was in 2016, and John Romita was in 2018.
Wow.
So, and it never lost the grade value on that.
And neither one of them is
Rare.
signing.
That's
anymore.
hard.
Yeah. You're not gonna get those.
Yep.
It's those.
What
That's
exists
another
exists. That's
piece
it.
of history. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Uncle Gary.
Oh,
There it
Step
is.
up to
The man
ring.
bringing the heat.
Here comes
If
the
you
heat.
thought you've
Party.
seen good stuff, ladies and gentlemen, you need to buckle in because the roller coaster is
Buckle
about
in.
to go down.
All right.
Yes, it is.
All right, y'all. Now pull up your chairs, get you a drink, get your little snack. It's story time now.
just
In
settle in,
February,
everybody.
Yep.
February of 1974, I was 9.5 years old, and I walked into a convenience store with my beloved grandfather, who we go to 7-Eleven. I get a drink, I'd get maybe a fruit pie, maybe a pack of cookies or something, and he gave me money to go to the spinner rack, and I bought a book. I have my Genesis book, Justice League of America,
Yeah, that's
111.
Nice. Woo.
It is beat to hell. This is the most important book in my collection.
Yeah.
Most important book. It is my Genesis book. It is well loved. It is beat to hell. The Justice League, this is number 111. I love this book so much that the first series I ever collected was completed was JLA. I went back and got the previous 110 issues. Now, for reference, this is what this book is supposed to look like. So,
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, expect more of this.
Yes.
yeah,
Expect more of this.
just like
You're not
this.
going to see 5 books. You're going to see 10.
So hey, you know what? But this doesn't count. This is just showing what it should look like. So anyway,
This sets the stage, Uncle Gary.
it's such a thing. So the reason I have over 59,000 books is because I started collecting, and I'm almost a 50-year collector now. So I'm really looking forward to February of 24. I never stopped collecting, not for a single day, not for a minute, not for a second. I always had room for the 3 most important things in my life: comics, football, and girls. I always made time for those things. So never stopped, not for a day. Now,
This is why he's on the Codex station.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, right here.
that's right, baby. That's right. It's story time. All right. Now, for those of you that know me, my favorite cover of all time. Swamp
Swamp
Thing.
Thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
My favorite cover, Mr. Bernie writes, this is my favorite comic cover of all time.
And
It
how
is
many do you have?
Oh my God. How many do we have? Oh my God. Look at that. There's another one.
9.
Woo! At this point, I have 11, I think.
Wow.
Oh, and look, let's see. There's even one, some are subpar. Some are kind of scribbled on. What's that say?
That's just.
Oh,
You
yeah,
just
right.
need to throw that one right in the
Dick move.
trash.
Writes it in there. So, Swamp Thing 9, my favorite comic cover of all time.
I love it, man.
He
It's my
even
heart.
has a wood burning of it up.
I
by
saw
the-
that. Yeah.
I do. That is
Yeah.
pretty cool. by a good man, a friend of mine named Henry Brooks made that. So now, Brandon, I don't know if you're actually a I think one of the coolest
Can't
things
have
are,
any more of those books because Uncle Gary has them all.
I'm trying. Listen,
Yeah.
and look, I
That's why we
have
can't
10
find
or
them.
11 right now, and I've given away at least 20. I've given away at least 20 because it's such an important book. I think on the Codex Station, Dan got one not long ago, and they're getting harder and harder for me to give away because the price is going up and up on them. I think I'm setting the market on these things. So I think one of the coolest things that the comic companies are doing right now is because so many of these keys are really expensive books, they're making these facsimile editions. And facsimile editions are ways where we can all get a copy. So I'd like to show you one of the most important books. Here's my facsimile copy of Raven the Bold 28.
No,
Do we like that?
In my butt. Yeah,
Do
right.
we like
I don't
that
think that's a
facsimile
fact. I
copy?
don't think so.
Oh,
This
Yeah.
is how Uncle Gary introduced himself on his first episode of Codex. Showed us facsimiles of some books that definitely were not.
My bad. That's the real deal. That stamp there says December of 1959 on it. Oh,
My Lord.
I hate it when I put books in the wrong pile and grab the wrong thing. I'm sorry.
It
I
happened.
just showed
Gary.
you a
It's
brand
okay.
new book, and I showed you this book from late December of 59. Who wants to see a Raven the Bold 28 in this kind of shape? Nobody wants to see
Beautiful
that.
shape. That is
That cover makes me so happy that they were sitting around thinking that up, and they're like, "What about a starfish? Let's use a starfish."
From outer space.
From outer space.
And then,
And then it
Starro
took them
appears-
years to figure out what they're going to name him.
Right.
Well, do you know how many years it took before he
Starro.
appeared again?
Several.
17. He didn't appear
Justice
again
League
until
Europe or
he didn't appear again until Adventure Comics.
no?
Gosh, I want to say 451 or 459. It was an Aquaman solo story, and that was the second appearance of Starro, and it was that many years between. But anyway, this is the first Raven the Bold. This book is very important because my grandfather bought this book for me in 1980, and I think it was 180 bucks. So this book has been in my possession that long, and I would never have this slabbed because anyway, I'm not getting books slabbed anyway because I'm taking them with me when I die. I'm looking for a hearse with a look at that. So all this is coming with me. So but
I love it.
So it's not going to get slabbed, and if I had it slabbed, it would be out of my chain of custody. And even though they could replace the book if something happened, they couldn't get me the book that my grandfather got.
That's
me.
correct,
So,
man. Irreplaceable.
Yeah.
Next gen collector, if you think that's clean, wait until he shows some of the other stuff he has.
well,
The other
listen,
facsimiles.
I'm actually going
Yeah.
to show. What do we think is the first book to kick off the Silver Age? Because this is an important book to me too.
that was showcased. Yeah,
Or
there it
Showcase
is.
Yep.
4? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
There's Showcase 4, baby.
Jeez.
That's nice.
Showcase 4. It's a 2.5. It's got a little bit of damage on it, but you know what?
It's got a lot of
Showcase
love.
Looks better than my 0.0.
Those of us at the Codex Comic Station are trying our hardest to work our way into Uncle Gary's will.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a Three Stooges quote I could give you, but it's not appropriate.
Oh.
Save it for after dark, Gary. Save it for
Save it
after
for
dark.
after dark.
Because
After dark.
It's great. It's a great quote because now I know what you're thinking, Brandon. You're only DC centric, and you're only showing DC centric books. You're right. And look, I have a great Marvel collection, but I am more of a DC guy. So I'll show you a Marvel book. But here's what's kind of crazy though. It's slabbed, and they've been doing these facsimile editions, and it's a slab facsimile, and I don't know why anybody would slab a facsimile in the first
Pick your
place.
jaws up, ladies and gentlemen.
And then, if you're going to slab a facsimile, why the hell would you do a low grade one like this? I just
There
don't
it is.
Get it.
You jerk.
Jeez.
Just what? Why? Why would you slab a low grade facsimile?
It's like
It-
seeing them for the first time all over again.
What's up,
Yeah.
Richard?
Yeah, just Oh wait,
History.
Gimme, gimme.
History
minute.
in your hands
Yes.
of the
oh,
most
it
one of the
purrs
most
too.
important
I know.
book.
I got to hold that too. I got to
Yes, you
hold
did
that.
get to
book
hold
when I
it.
was listening. Yes, it was
Mhm.
amazing.
Yep, absolutely. Now, so
Pun intended.
pun
Thank you.
intended. That's right. So these are some great books, Brandon.
It can up north. It can. Just
Listen.
wait.
Listen, here's the tragedy. You have 5 books, you told me? Well, 5 books, you don't get to see that. You don't get to see that. You don't get to see that.
Here's the rundown.
You don't get to see that. You don't get to see that. You don't get to see that. And Brandon,
Oh, my God.
Wait. Can we back it up for a second? Can we back it up to FF, please, quick? Can I just
with the FF?
elevate?
Yeah, but you can't see that, dude.
Oh
He
my
said
God.
5
Limited me
books.
to 5. And look, we didn't even talk. Look, we didn't talk Golden Age.
Here it
What's up,
comes.
Golden Age? You could have seen that.
There it is.
Yeah, look at that.
The whiz.
You could have seen that. Batman 15. Oh my God.
With that machine gun. Look at that machine gun.
Flash Comics. Yeah. Batman doesn't carry a gun my ass. Batman's shooting a 60 cal right
Yep.
there.
Gary.
Yep.
Cut it. It's a
All right,
Hey,
family show.
Uncle Gary, I got a question for you.
Yes.
What's your X-Men Unbroken run go from?
My X-Men Unbroken run. You're talking with no gaps, no holes in them?
Yeah, that's right.
See. It's complete from this one on.
Oh my God.
There it is.
Yeah, it's that's right, one.
Everybody,
What's it like?
please subscribe to the Codex Comic Station.
So
If you want to see more stuff just like this
see, you could
every
have seen that if you
Saturday.
hadn't limited me to 5. We could have seen that
Oh,
if you
there
hadn't
it is.
limited me to 5. What else we got?
Gary, you can't show it all, man.
What about that?
Oh my
Oh, look
God.
at that.
He
That's
can.
a nice book. That's
What
a nice
about
book.
Action 50? We could have shown that. And I think we at the end we briefly did Flash Comics number 10. But
You flashed the flash.
but we
That's a round of applause. That's a round
Yes.
of applause. That's
Very good job, Uncle Gary.
Thank you.
You can come back.
I'm just gonna throw all of my stuff away, please. I'm just gonna throw all my stuff away.
You can come back.
Hey, don't throw away that Iron Man. That was a nice book. I don't even
Yeah,
know.
I like. Yeah, I
So
like.
there you go.
So I'm gonna show some books now.
I told you to have me last.
No, and that's okay because hold on. I forgot to take something off the wall, guys. Bear with me. Just
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
He's going to the wall, ladies and
Bring
gentlemen.
in the heat.
He's got to try to compete.
Here we
What's
go.
he coming back with? What place your
That is
bets?
a nice wall.
Place
though.
your
Look at
bets.
that.
Well,
Look at
it's
that.
not the Fantastic Four back there.
Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. What has he got?
Or that amazing.
all right. Sorry
50.
about that. There's something I wanted to show you guys that's kind of comic related. There was a comic of it, but let me go through my books first because it's not a comic. But I saw in Uncle Gary's room tour he had Daredevil 1 through 10. I just picked up.
Oh, yeah.
I saw
saw
your
that.
show
I saw
on
that.
that.
I
Yeah.
saw that
Yep.
episode. Yeah.
I saw that too. That was great.
It
Yep.
was too good to pass up. You know, it's low grade. It's probably a 2.5, 2.0.
That book's a
Um,
big deal, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
it's
a big deal.
great.
a history like changing the suit. Mid run
I love that suit.
was a big deal. Plus Wally Wood goodness. I mean, to have a piece of Wally Wood's art. I was
Yeah.
talking to someone, one of my subscribers was saying, it'd be wild if Wally Wood could be alive and see what his art has done and how much it goes for now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, those guys had no idea what they're creating. So I'm now at 5 out of the first 10. I think that's going to be a 2024 collecting goal is to finish the run.
That's a
That's why I brought
Do
that
it.
Daredevil 1 to briefly show you. 'cause
Yeah,
I
you
saw
had to
that
show me.
episode.
It's what a great cover. That book is great. Now these next 3 books are very important to me because on the Colossus Collectors Christmas show last night, there was 10 of us there, including him. He sent the 9 of us personalized gifts, and we couldn't open them to the show. And he really did his homework. And I am trying to complete the Kirby 1 through 102 Kirby Lee Fantastic Four run. It's like a lifetime, collect as long as Uncle Gary and be patient and you can get there. It can be done.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of like working through back issues. So Ryan sent me a Fantastic Four 93.
Ooh,
Nice.
Kirby is
Nice.
definitely my favorite artist.
Beautiful book.
Yeah.
What a great
that's
battle cover.
great.
Arena of
Looks
Death.
nice.
Yeah,
Looks like it's in really good shape.
yeah,
Yeah.
I needed this. I needed all 3 books he sent me.
So Brandon Kirby's your favorite artist? all
Yeah,
time?
yeah.
Of Kirby's stuff, oddly enough, my favorite book of his, and I have all the FFs, I have, a lot of his early stuff, is Commandy. I love Commandy. So if you love Kirby,
Yes, I have to pick up some Commandy. I do. I love the work he did on that. It is.
He did the
gorgeous.
first 40 issues, I believe, were Kirby. The first 40. And
Another addiction. Thanks.
Absolutely. I'm here for you.
He's also sent me Fantastic Four 91.
Nice.
Really
Oh,
cool
that's beautiful too.
That
thing.
is great.
Yeah, in good shape. The Mylar too. You guys know Mylar really makes them. You know,
Gotta love that Zeppelin flying in the background.
Zeppelin in the background, the mobsters. You know, I don't know who picked up that thing to put around Thing's head, but must have been a strong guy. And then the last book he sent me that I pretty much slept with last night. Trying to get it for a while.
Yeah, the Black
He
Bolt.
was
Nice.
insanely kind to do this. I've wanted the first Black Bolt for a while.
Wow.
What about this cover? It's just so different to me, and
Incredibly iconic.
yes, and that's
Great
the thing
shape
about
too. That's a
yes,
great shape.
It is really nice shape for its age. The Fantastic Four. I mean, just how many first appearances, throughout that whole run is just staggering. When you start to like collect it, you're like, oh my God, how am I gonna do this?
It's like the Claremont X-Men run. There's all
for
those
sure.
first appearances.
For sure. And then the last book I brought, because I saw it at Uncle Gary's museum tour video, and I love it as much too. And I do collect DC. I'm a Marvel guy, but I appreciate DC. The House of Secrets.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
That's a nice cover,
105. And Jeff worked on this book. We thought this was going to be a 9092. Really couldn't find much wrong with it, but at the end of the day, I don't care, because that Jack Sparling cover,
Yep.
intrigued me with the kids so innocently fishing on the boat, and that skull in the foreground with that drag. I mean, what a beautiful job he did.
Look, you're a horror guy. I would love it if you came here and we dove through these horror boxes, because the DC Bronze Age horror were they were the gold standard of that era. Because and it's funny, Marvel on their books would have a lot of verbiage and a lot of thought, speech balloons on the covers, but DC was pretty much an image. They would have a great image, and you had Bernie Wrightson's, you had Luis Dominguez, you had Nick Cardy, who was phenomenal, Jack Sparling,
Yes.
Neil Adams, Bernie Wrightson. The DC covers were so amazing on House of Secrets, House of Mystery, Unexpected, Ghost. So it's just
They let their art do the talking. They
Yes.
didn't need those little bubbles saying this is the most spectacular
Check out
read.
the Halloween episode we did for After Dark. Uncle Gary goes through a slew of DC.
A bunch of
It's on my playlist.
Yeah, Kaluda's
13
another one.
13 to remember, right?
So this last piece I want to show you guys, because I heard you quoting it at one of the ends of your streams. Story time with Brandon quick. I'm years ago, I'm working at a restaurant in my hometown. I'm the manager of the front of the house. And I come in for an afternoon shift. Now, I have Colgate University is in my hometown. That's where I'm a custodian at, my day job. And I come into the shift, and one of the waitresses said, "Hey, one of the Ghostbusters was here. Someone said you might be interested." And I was like, "Excuse me?" She goes, "Yeah, maybe Egon." I'm like, "Well, hold up, team meeting." So I brought all my staff around. And I was like, "The next time a Ghostbuster walks into this restaurant, you call me." And they're like, "Okay, we get it, So a couple months go by. My friend calls me. He's like, "Dude, he's here. His son's visiting school." I ransacked my house trying to find something. The only thing I could find was a Ghostbusters 2 DVD, but I did manage to get it signed.
Dude,
nice.
I heard you guys quoting cats and dogs living together. Mass hysteria. He was the nicest guy. I went up and I was like, "Hey, Mr. Amos, I'm sorry to bother your lunch." And his wife's like, "No, he loves this. Sit down." So I was like, Ghostbusters is my favorite, but I mean, let's do the checklist: Caddyshack, National Lampoon's Animal House, Stripes, Groundhog. I mean, he's responsible for some of the greatest comedies ever. His son was a stand-up kid. His son, you would have never known, was the son of Harold Ramis. He would come in just to sit down and have a snack and talk to us. And then, he'd come back through his, son's years at school, and he'd come in to eat at the restaurant. He'd be like, "Hey, Brandon." I'd be like, "Hi, Mr. Ramis." And I'd see him walking through the park in my town. I was like, this is so weird.
Wow.
Awesome.
So I had to show you this, guys. This is, I would say this is more rare than the Stan Lee signature. This guy wasn't sitting around pumping out signatures. You know?
That's very,
he didn't have a handler at shows, and then he passed away, and it was just a great loss. So yeah, that is something that's really near and dear to my heart. That
I love how you have that showcased.
Yes.
Yeah, I could have put a picture from Ghostbusters 2, but I just that picture shot so iconic. I was like, whatever, I don't care. And it's crazy. I showed this off in a Facebook group, and I got a couple messages, and people were offering me upwards of $1,000, and I was like, no, sorry.
No.
I'm like, you don't even care that it's, you don't even care that it's personalized. They're like, dude, there's only so many, like, I was like, well, you're not getting this one. So,
Yeah.
That's
This
the
one.
difference between flippers and collectors, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Uncle Gary, all of your signatures are personalized.
My pro tip is when you go to a con and you meet these guys, and look, I for years I've got to meet Neil Adams. I've got to meet Mike Grill, these guys that are heroes of mine. I got to meet Bernie once, thank goodness. But my tip is get things personalized. You get them personalized, and you may wind up with a sketch or something else that's really spectacular. And I have quite a few of those, because then the artists know that you're not just making a buck on the fact that they signed it, and there's a better and more genuine interaction
Never thought of it
with that creator. Yeah, absolutely. So now, do you devalue it? Yes, you do. But if they draw a sketch or something like that for it, well, buddy, that just jacked that value way up, because then you're getting something that's spectacular. So
and you're keeping it for you anyways. So
right, I'm keeping it for me anyway, but it means a lot when I pass things on, to my kids, my wife, the stuff that won't fit in that luggage rack when I'm taking everything with me on the hearse. It's nice to have those left behind, but I just, like I said, that's my tip. Get something and ask them, can you personalize it? And some artists and creators, writers are so cool that if you have something personalized, they won't even charge you.
Yes, I listened to you that on your museum tour, and I saw, looking at all your signatures, and it is very wise words of wisdom. At the end of the day, these are for us, for our collection, for our stories, and it's just the signatures and pictures and stuff you have signed, and the art is just phenomenal.
Well, I love your Ramus story. That is great, because he was a cool guy. He was a writer. He was, he was a great comedian. Had a great insight, great mind, and like you said, so many of these comedies of our era, he had a hand in. So, and you had a personal interaction with him and saw him. So you should never give that up. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, he was so. I mean, he got a picture with us behind the bar. Me and my best friend who worked with me was a huge Ghostbusters fan, and it was just really an experience of a lifetime. It doesn't, you might get one or two of those in your life if you're lucky.
Yeah.
It was great. But wow, you guys, I'm sure you could see from the chat popping up, you guys all brought some very well liked books. We'll have to do this again at some point.
Anytime.
Anytime. There's more people from the Codex Station we can have come on if you guys want to come back.
Brandon, we want you to come on Codex.
I would be honored to come on the Codex and show more of what I love to collect. And
what are you doing at 11 o'clock tonight?
Going to bed, unfortunately.
We're just getting the party started.
That's right.
We're getting old, gentlemen.
Jump into bed with us? Come on, man.
I got that 15-month-old that's gonna. She wakes up at 5 a.m. every day. That's what she does.
Like clockwork.
She's up and at 'em.
You don't need sleep.
It'll remind you when you were in your 20s.
That's right.
I've got a 20-year-old, a 5-year-old, and an almost 2-year-old. So I feel
saying that, Wes. Yeah, you're right.
Wes, my youngest last week turned 30. Are you kidding me? My youngest just turned 30. Look, I'm 59 years old. I'm right on the verge of 60. But I'm still strong like bull, baby. Lifting all them
side quest, live in the sweat that
the cold
during
shower
Uncle Gary's books. No,
you'll
never get it.
Yeah,
he did. He had me up late.
Colossus, we're trying to get him to stay up later, but
let's make an event out of it and advertise it and get something going on.
Absolutely.
What's coming up with the Codex channel? I know that's okay. So some of you, Gary, you have your own personal channel as well as Sal. Gary, why don't you jump on first and tell us what's going on with your channel?
All right. Well, it's not so much a channel. What is, I'm wearing a shirt that says Comic Logic. I'm a proud co-owner of Comic Logic, which is Loudoun County, Virginia's only comic book store. We would love to see you. If you're in the area, come see us. If you come on Wednesdays when I'm getting my new books, you can watch me getting it injected right into these veins right here. Comics give you muscles. People don't know that. But I get that 4-color ink. We put it in here. When you buy these comic books and you read comics and you lift these long boxes, comic books and push-ups get you that, baby. So read comic books, make you strong. So come see us. We would love to see you at Comic Logic. The first 3 Thursdays of every month, Comic Logic, we have a Facebook Live show, and it's me, the principal owner, Rob, and my best friend, Mike. And we are all we talk about comics. We talk about, we talk about sports. We talk about any other things that might interest old men like us. And we tell you to get off our lawns at the end of the show. That's a highlight. But we are also known as Ye Grumpier Old Nerds. So that's what we are. And I also want to plug a site that I always plug on our show that got us together. And that is the Comic Character of the Day site, which our buddy Archduke Kevy, who's part of Codex, founded. He founded it he's on Facebook. And what it is, it's where we all were connected. On Facebook, I'm known as Opie Taylor, and I post the cover of the day. And Sal is always on. He posts frequently. And Dan Kelly, a resident artist, posts a random panel of the day, and he posts a question of the day. And we all interact on that site. And then that is the way that we we got connected and where we were introduced to one another. So it's a wonderful site. Want to give Kevy some love. And I mentioned the Ye Grumpier Old Nerds. That's us right there. Ye Grumpier Old Nerds. So
that's awesome.
Let me say that. Yeah, a good friend of ours, J. Robert Deans, who's a comic creator himself, created that for us, going on the Muppet motif. Of course, I'm on the sleeves rolled up.
I love it. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. So, but that's where you can find me. But yeah, if you're in Northern Virginia, come to Comic Logic. We would love to see you. We'd love to talk books. We'd love to have you look around the store. So please come give us. And then, of course, catch me on Codex with these wonderful gentlemen you have, Scary.
I love it. Sal, what do you have in your own personalized channel stuff?
Okay, so I have a YouTube channel called Sal's Comic Corner. Ta-da! We can talk about my corner. My corner is not as impressive as Gary's Facebook, Grumpy Old Nerd. But what I do is I go through my slabs. I do some unboxings. I've actually go through some books that I like to get sent off for grading, and I go through it, check it for defects, and then package it up, show my packaging, and send it off. I also do some mail calls when I get a mail call from a seller that I usually deal with or haven't dealt with. I usually open it up, show how they packaged it, give you guys a rating on it, say, hey, they did a good job on packing. This one, not so good, but still the books came in fine, so all's well, that ends well type thing. I even show a video of how I made my wall with the J channel vinyl on there. That's a sweet wall. Thank you. So, and then I did some cracking of some slabs as well. I recorded a few of that. So just check it out. Sal's Comic Corner on YouTube. I sometimes post to Instagram under the Slab Guy 77, but I'm mostly on YouTube.
Don't forget knife safety.
Sal, don't sell your channel short. You also talk about knife safety.
Yes.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Because
that's right.
Tim's always worried about knife safety. So whenever I click open the knife, I'm like, I got the warning message that comes up says
I have
warning,
legitimate
and I'm like, knife
reason
safety.
for that.
Yes.
It was just the one day you just popped it open all willy-nilly and Sal.
What can I say? I'm a professional with the knife.
Oh my God. Tim, why don't you represent and tell us what's going on with the Codex?
You got it. Brandon, thank you so much for having us on here tonight. It has been an absolute joy. We were excited about this all week. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to find more of all of us here, and soon to be Brandon coming on to join us on a show, all you got to do is type in at the Codex Station on your favorite social media platform and where we live stream, YouTube, Twitch, all of those places. Go ahead, hit the like, share, subscribe, and follow. We definitely would love to have you. Also, we have a website, thecodexstation.com. That's for all your Codex needs. You can get some awesome merch that Wes and I are wearing right now, and my picture is on the back of this shirt, so that would be even more awesome. But yeah, the Codex Station, all you got to do is type that in your favorite social media platform and thecodexstation.com. Don't forget Comic Character of the Day on Facebook. As Uncle Gary said, that is a great non-toxic place to go and hang out with all of us after hours.
Absolutely.
We got a question here.
The stories.
Okay.
All right. That's a good question.
Joined no disrespect, but what made you get interested in comics? The stories. I mean, the artwork, the stories, opening our imaginations, giving us an opportunity to jump into a world where we don't have to worry about what's going on around us at the moment. 28 pages, 30 minutes. Yeah.
I didn't have any brothers or sisters, and I was pretty isolated. I was in a I was in a school away from home. I was in military school for a while. So, I didn't have a great friend set. I didn't have close people. So comics were something I needed because I didn't have much family, but it was a world where the good guys usually won. And I needed that in my life. I needed a world where the good guys usually won. And that's what drew me in with the stories, with the art, but it was just getting into that universe where good prevailed. And I needed that, in my life.
There are soap operas. There are soap operas.
For me, it was Spider-Man. Spider-Man, the '60s cartoon, the '70s TV show.
Heck yeah.
It's Peter Parker's always having that bad luck. I always felt like that science nerd connection type of thing with him. Never had any luck with the ladies till later in life. I just kind of felt like that connection with Spider-Man and Peter Parker.
I didn't have a problem with that part. Sorry, Sal.
And Richard, there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, you're a freaking stud, Gary. What can I say?
I used to be, brother. I used to be.
You're a freaking stud. All right.
Well, I appreciate that.
Whatever. Anyhow, so yeah, I connected with Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and that X-Men 133 book being the actual first book I ever read, and it just kind of blew my mind, and I needed to read more.
Richard, the thing is even though you got into these characters after they became popular, they are still fresh and brand new to you. And that is the most important thing, because there is so much that you could dive into, and you can go in a million different directions and read some amazingly wonderful stories
that you'll never see on the big screen ever.
Exactly. Exactly. And enjoy this, right? I wish I could go back to the first time that I was introduced to Spider-Man. That would be amazing to relive that again. And that you're going through that now brings a lot of happiness to my heart.
Wes, how about you? How did you get into them?
Into comics?
Yeah.
It was, like I was saying before, my dad had a bunch of comics, and we were digging through some stuff, and I'm like, and he was showing them to me, telling me a little bit about them. And he would always play around with that Green Lantern quote in Darkest Day, in Brightest Day, Darkest Night, all that stuff. And I was like, "What's that from?" And he told me, and he had some comics that was left over. So I started reading his stuff. Mostly he had Sergeant Rock and stuff that was like, I mean, it was cool, but whatever. And then I slowly started getting into it as a kid, probably around 8 or 9, so late 80s, early 90s, and then kind of went from there. And then up into graduating high school, and then I joined the military, and then went out and did my thing. And there's no comic collecting in that, so I kind of had like a 20-year hiatus, to be honest with you, almost of collecting. And then, like he was saying, I kind of got back into it because they got popular again. I'm like, oh yeah, I was a nerd at one time, and I remember this, and it kind of got me going back. So I went through back my stuff, and I started looking through my boxes, like, oh my God. And I kind of got back into it again, started reading it again, and just reliving my childhood, to be honest with you. And that's kind of it. It's a tale as old as time. It happens to a lot of people. And it certainly happened to me. And like I said, I've only been collecting again seriously for like the last 4 years, maybe 3, 4, 5 years. So it's been a wild ride for sure. And I've picked up some decent stuff, like that. That's the number 6 to go. That's the number 6 to go with your number 7 there.
Need that.
But now, I'm picking up some cool stuff, and I'm meeting some awesome people, and it's for me, that's more important than the value of these books. And I know that sounds cliche, but it's the truth. It is the absolute truth. Yeah.
And this is the real fruits of our YouTubing
and
effort.
For the new collectors, because I am a new collector, I still don't know a tenth. I don't have a tenth of their knowledge of comic books, because I had that big, huge gap in learning and reading. So I'm still playing catch up with all of these guys, especially, every one of them, I should say. Dan, Uncle Gary, for sure. Jamie, our boss guy, he's they're all into it. He's younger than me, much younger, and he knows a million times more than me. So I'm still getting into it. But yeah, that's sorry to get on my soapbox there, but
you are doing just fine, my man.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened to me. It was just
That was a great question. Well, I want to thank the chat for hanging out tonight. Everyone who came. The link to the Codex Comic Station is in the description of this video. You can go there, check them out. They have merch. They have all sorts of stuff you can get into. Check out Gary
Hey,
and
thanks,
Sal's separate
Thank you.
endeavors. And that's my cousin. Hey, cuz.
What's up, man?
Hey, Scotty.
I want to thank the members of the Codex Station. Thank you so much for honoring us with your
Thank you.
time, your
Thank you.
kindness. I couldn't wait to hang out with you guys after watching so much of your stuff, and I look forward to coming on to your stream as well and nerding out some more, because that's what we do.
Was it everything you hoped it would be, Brandon?
And more.
That's right.
And thanks to everybody in the chat too. That was outstanding.
Yeah,
we love
definitely.
that.
And Brandon, I want to thank you for bringing us on. And I got to admit, brother, you know, when Wes, thank you for nurturing this relationship and having this happen. But you know, I saw the love you were giving us, and we appreciate the shout outs you've been giving us. And I've been excited all week to come on here, and I wanted to, you know, I couldn't wait to blow your mind with what I should have probably 50 books, but I wanted to I just couldn't wait all week. I was really excited. But thank you for the generosity and the graciousness with which you have treated us.
No,
absolutely.
Pleasure's all on this side of the table, guys.
It's all over this side of the table.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not done with all of this, in about an hour and 45 minutes, Codex is going to be on at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you can do more.
Yep.
Love it. Go check these guys out. If you're bored, guys, you're on a Saturday night, pour a cocktail, do what you do, go have a drink. But until then, guys, we're going to end the stream. I'm going to talk with these guys backstage. And until next time, keep reading those comics, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.